tomorrow is Christmas Day, and we'll be celebrating the birth of Jesus. And what I wanted to share with you this year, to try to bring a Christmas song for you guys, because we do try to do something like that every year. It is a story about a very famous poet whose name was Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. And I have always really loved his poetry. I've really enjoyed it a lot. And Longfellow had, he had lost his first wife when she was only 22, and then years later fell in love again. And he, I think it was around 7 years he had to try to court this lady. And finally, they got married. They were very happy. They had children. But then in 1861, after they had been married for 18 years, she apparently had a candle tip over when she was trying to seal some letters that she was writing. And clothing was pretty flammable back then. And her dress caught on fire. And Longfellow himself worked so hard to get the fire out as fast as he could. But she died from the burns the next day. And he actually was burned badly enough that he wore the big beard for the rest of his life that he was kind of famous for. That's why he wore that big beard. So it had been a really rough loss for him in 1861. In 1863, during the American Civil War, his oldest son, Charles Appleton Longfellow, joined the Union Army, even though it was without his father's blessing. Longfellow got a letter dated in March of 1863, after Charles had left home in Boston. They were from Boston. His son said, "I have tried hard to resist the temptation of going without your leave, but I cannot any longer. I feel it to be my first duty to do what I can for my country, and I would willingly lay down my life for it, if it would be of any good." So his son joined the Union Army and began to fight in the Civil War. His son became a lieutenant, but then in November of 1863, he was severely wounded in the Battle of Mine Run. And he did eventually recover, but his career as a soldier was over. So we now come to Christmas of that same year. It is 1863, and the Civil War is going to go on for another couple of years. And on Christmas Day, Longfellow wrote a poem that he titled Christmas Bells. And they were at war. Our country was at war. His son had just been wounded in November, so his dad had gone down and gotten him and took him back up to Boston to try to take as good a care of him as he could to nurse him back to health. So he has a wounded son, and his beloved wife now has been gone. And so he's hearing the bells ringing out on Christmas Day. And he wrote this poem. And the story of it touches me so much, and it has become a fairly famous Christmas carol that's actually been put to two different melodies that I'm familiar with. And but you see the story in this incredible poem of someone who is on a Christmas Day realizing that maybe the world is just too full of darkness and horror. He doesn't know if his son's going to be okay. And I just want to share the poem with you, and then I want to share the song with you. So this is Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem that he titled Christmas Bells. I heard the bells on Christmas Day their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And thought how, as the day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from night to day, a voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then from each black, accursed mouth, the cannon thundered in the south, and with the sound the carols drowned of peace on earth, goodwill to men. It was as if an earthquake rent the hearthstones of a continent and made forlorn the households born of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And in despair, I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. But then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men. I didn't realize that was going to tear me up so much. But I was thinking about this story and how that in the midst of his despair, God reached deep into his heart, and as the bells kept ringing, he knew that God wasn't dead and he wasn't asleep, and right would prevail. And because God is real, there would be peace, and God did intend goodwill toward men. That peace on earth, goodwill to men is right out of Luke in the King James, where the angels are talking to the shepherds in the field, bringing them tidings of good news. And I know that God brought him the peace and the reassurance that he needed that day. And as we're celebrating Jesus' birth, I don't know what your life is like right now, but there are a lot of scary things happening in the world, and it seems like sometimes evil just prevails. But just as in the time of the Civil War, God's not dead and he's not asleep. And no matter what happens in this world, he can bring peace into your life and into our lives. And we can still rejoice and have joy in knowing that we're celebrating the birth of Christ, and that ultimately God is still in control, and that we can know that because of Jesus, we are going to be okay, and we can pray with power for those that need the Lord and need his help. So I'd like to pull myself together and then I would like to sing the song for you. And like I said, there's several melodies that go with it. There's one that I've chosen. The one melody goes dum da 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 dum, da 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 dum. That's a familiar one, but I've chosen the other one to share with you today. And I just want to wish you the greatest joy, and like I often feel like for people, may God just bring you unexpected joy and unexpected kindness in your life. So I'm going to end with this song, but I want to send you love, so does Bill, and pray that you can have a blessed time here as we're celebrating the birth of Jesus. I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to man. I thought how as the day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to man. And in despair I bowed There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to man. Then peal the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor does he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to man. Till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from night to day. A voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to man. A voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to man. I think it's neat that when they put the song together, they took that one verse and put it at the ending. It had been in the middle of his poem, but they put it at the end. Because I really think that that's what happened when God revealed to him that he was still alive and in control. And it says, till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from night to day. A voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Bill and I love you guys. I pray you have a really blessed, blessed Christmas. Or if you celebrate Hanukkah, I'm not sure when exactly that is, but I pray that'll be a blessing too. All right. Love you guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.